Well, hi everybody, and welcome to my after hours book chat. Now, if you're in California, it's 4 o'clock and it's before hours, but that's okay. If you're in Hawaii, it's the 2 o'clock book chat. But anyway, I'm glad you're here. If you're on the East Coast, it's after hours, and I'm here in my palatial library. It's behind me there. It's real. Anyway, why are we here tonight? Why are we getting together? Because I am very excited about this brand new book that I wrote about iPhone photography. And the whole idea is I'm going to give you some tips from this book. This whole night is really going to be full of awesomeness. It's going to be full of things from this book. I'm going to give you some great tips. And the book itself is kind of, well, I'll give you the basic theory behind the book. The theory behind the book is a lot of people take their iPhone very seriously, and the cameras keep getting better and better and better. And what I wanted to do was take the same techniques that I teach to serious pro photographers and just apply the same techniques, but the only thing that's different is your camera. Your camera's not a Nikon, it's not a Canon, it's an Apple iPhone. And the Apple iPhone in particular just does some amazing, crazy, ludicrous things, and the quality just keeps getting better and better and better, and so that's what I did. So the book is a bunch of iPhone tips, but it is more photography tips to make you get great photos on your iPhone. So that's what we're gonna look at. I'm also gonna do a live Q&A, so if you're watching and you've got questions about the iPhone, or anything about the iPhone or iPhone photography, or anything else for that matter, because really it doesn't really matter, just drop it in the chat there, and I'll be answering them a little later in the show. So what are we really going to do? We're going to do mostly quick tips, and the idea is you're going to fall in love with all this, and you're going to go, I have to buy this book. And if you do, my publisher has made the most ridiculous book deals in the history. They're so cheap, it's almost like I was going to throw this money in the garbage. Oh wait, I can buy a book, great. It's that low. It's just like really ridiculously, embarrassingly, angrily cheap. So that's what's coming up. All right, so what I wanted to do was, the book is already out. It is actually, you can get it, it's at the Rocky Nook bookstore, and it's wherever fine books are sold, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, any bookstore. Okay, it's been out just a few weeks. It had the biggest pre-orders of any book that I've done in years, which is great. It got off to a roaring review. It's got all 5-star reviews, and it's sold out immediately on Amazon. So it was gone for about a week and a half, but they are back in stock. So they're back in stock, but we've got a deal that's better than Amazon's deal tonight. So even though Amazon does discount the book pretty well, not like you're going to get tonight, because they're really doing some crazy stuff. So I went and I got some actual unsolicited reader comments, so you can see a little bit about the book right up front. And these are just unsolicited reader comments. We'll just start off, and you can just take a look at a couple of them really quickly, and we'll just whip through those. But I'm really proud of what I've been able to do with this book. It was challenging to do a book, that's so different than what I normally do. And again, unsolicited actual reader comments. And just a couple more. All right, so let's get going. Now, the first thing we have some giveaways tonight. So we have some really cool giveaways. My publisher, Rocky Nook Publishing, the fine folks at Rocky Nook, are going to give you a $50 gift card so you can go to their store, and they have every big photographer you can think of. They got all the photography books that are out there that are awesome, including like Kaylee Greer's brand new book, and Roberto Valenzuela's, and all the great books are out there. Glenn Dewis, all the gang, all the great authors are there. And we're also going to give away 2 We have 2 of the $50 gift cards from Rocky Nook, and we have 2 Kelby One 1-year pro memberships. So we've got 4 great prizes that we're going to give away to someone watching live on the show tonight. So those are coming up. All right, let's get to some tips. You ready? All right, now the first one I'm going to give you is a really low-level tip. Like, it's really simple, it's really basic, but everybody loves it, and not a lot of people know it. And it's one of the most helpful things ever, and that's just simply this. When you're shooting with your phone, I've got my phone right here. You know how you know this is my phone? Because of the cool case. Can you see the case? Yeah, it's cracked. I dropped my phone, and it cracked the back of my phone. I dropped it months and months ago. In fact, I dropped it last year. But because it's the back of the phone, I just don't care. If it was the front, I'd have already replaced it. But this is mine. Anyway, so it's changing your exposure on the fly. So a lot of times we're shooting a scene and we're like, oh, it's too bright or it's too dark. It's so easy to fix this. Literally, all you do is, well, first you tap to focus. You go, okay, I'm going to focus on my subject here. You're going to tap on it, right? Now, once you tap on it, you notice how a little sun icon shows up to the right of where you tapped? All you do is tap on screen and drag your finger down, and it makes the scene darker, or drag your finger up, and it makes the scene brighter. I went the wrong way. There we go. Makes it brighter. So drag down to make it darker, drag up to make it brighter, and immediately the whole picture, you can fix, it's like exposure compensation, right? For those of you who use DSLRs and stuff. By the way, this is really important. I know that a lot of you watching today are photographers and you follow me on social and different stuff like that. But if you know somebody who loves their iPhone and they want to get better, go send them a text or send them a tweet or just message them or something and go, hey, we're about to learn a bunch of really cool tips. And that was the least of the tips. They get better from here. Just wanted to ease you into the tips. But that's what I use every day. It's just so handy. Tap, slide up, or tap and slide down, and that's it. All right, this next one I love, and if you are a DSLR or mirrorless photographer, you're gonna go, why don't we have this in our cameras? Because this is something we don't have, and you're gonna wish that we did. It is the ability to take a photo, and then after you're done, you can choose how blurry you want the background. Now, there is a mode that you probably know about, and if you don't know about it, well then this is the bonus tip. On your phone, that's called portrait mode. When you're taking a photograph of somebody, what it does is through mathematics, not through the lens, but through mathematical crazy stuff that Apple is doing in the background, it literally can put your background behind your subject out of focus to where it looks like you shot it with a mirrorless or a DSLR using a wide open f-stop and a long lens. It's like right here. It's almost indistinguishable from that you shot it with a DSLR. That's cool. That's portrait mode. And by the way, when you turn on portrait mode, it wants you to be about 8 feet from your subject, but I'll give you a little hint. There's some things that are funky about the iPhone, like it says, wait, move back, move further back, but you don't really have to. You can shoot a lot closer than 8 feet, but it's going to tell you move back 8 feet, but you don't really have to. It's lying to you. But let's move on. All right, so here's what you do. Here's how it works. Ready? So you make sure you're in portrait mode. That's the first thing, because portrait mode is the thing that gives you the blurring, okay? Then go to the regular camera app and choose your thing. See up where it says the f-stop up in the top left corner there? Watch, tap on it, and now you have this slider. Look at the background. I can go to f1.4. Look how blurry that background. This is an iPhone shot. All these shots are iPhone shots, by the way. So look at the background. I can make it out of focus, kind of focused, or in focused, all by just tapping on the little f-stop. I'm gonna show you again. Here we go. So it's right up there in the top corner. You see this little f4.5 right there up in the top left corner. That's it. If you see the f-stop, that means you've got that feature where you can just change it. You tap on that, and when you tap on that, what you're gonna see is a little slider appear. See the slider to the left, or excuse me, to the far right? And you can change, there's F16, there's F5, and there's F1.6. Look how nice and blurry and amazing that background is, and you can change it live on the fly. Isn't that something? Now, here's the interesting thing about this. This is what's going to get you, and it's one of those inaccuracies. So you're in portrait mode, and you shoot, you do everything right, and you'll go look at the photo, and sometimes it shows the f-stop. If you see the f-stop, if it says 5.6, or tap on it and you have this feature. Sometimes that f-stop will not be there. I don't know why. It's just on some photos it's there and some photos it's not. There's probably a reason, but I was not able to find out what that is. So I just go, doggone it, why doesn't this photo have that? Most of the time it's there, sometimes it's not. Even though it says the word portrait, so you know you took it in portrait mode, it says the word portrait, but then it's just not there. All right, speaking of portraits, let's talk about making better portraits, because one of the things that people shoot a lot of with their phone is other people. So I have a little tip for you for better outdoor portraits. Now, this is a getting better at photography tip. It's not an iPhone-like-esque tip, but we're going to use this regular thing that professional photographers use. We're going to use it with our iPhone, and it's going to make a huge difference in our portraits, especially when we're outside. First thing we're going to do is this, quite simply, is we're going to buy a reflector kit. Now, the one that I use happens to be this particular one. It's from a company called Westcott, so it's fjwestcott.com. Now, this is the one I use. It's 40 inches, and it is a reflector that is, there's one silver, well, I'll show you what they are. There's a silver, there's a gold, well, here's what they are. There's a silver one, there's a white one, there's a black one, there's a gold one, all right? So you get all these different reflectors. All right, and all reflectors do is they bounce light, right? So that's what they do, they reflect light. I have to be honest with you, I don't use reflectors a lot. So why am I having you buy this kit? Because there's two things that come with this kit that are phenomenal, all right? So but I'm gonna take you through how they're used, and then I'll show you how to use them with your phone, because here we go. First off, the silver one, you use that indoors in, like if you're in a studio, right? You need a bounced light or something. I occasionally will use a silver reflector in the studio. Like if someone's got dark circles under their eyes or there's just not enough light, I will put a silver reflector in there. All right, there is a white one. That is actually pretty good if you do product photography. Like if you're selling stuff on eBay, and you know, they always say on eBay, the better the photo, the better chance you'll sell it. So you might use if you put up a light to light whatever you're selling, let's say that you're selling a lens, or let's say that you're selling something else, a vase. Let's sell a vase. You put a light up and this will reflect, you know, the light and put some more light back into there. I don't use that one a lot. Then there's this one that's black, and it's awesome, and I'm going to show you a little later a whole tutorial just on using the black side. This is one of the reasons that I buy it, is for the black side, but there's more. Then there's a gold one, and that's just for using near sunset. If you're trying to bounce some of the sun back into somebody's face, you use that. I don't really use that one very much either. But you know what I do use, and the whole reason I bought this kit was, so there's a zipper. It's a round disc, right? And there's a zipper, and it has a little cloth. And on two sides, one side's silver and white, and then you turn it around and put it inside out, and it's black and silver. But inside, this is the thing. It is a one-stop diffuser, and this is magic. This is all that's standing between you and great photos. Now, this particular one that I bought was like $39, right? You can find them online, I kid you not, for $9.95, just the one-stop diffuser. Just that. But the reason I would say spend the extra money is because you do get some of those other reflectors that you might use, but the black one's really good. Okay, but let's talk about this one-stop diffuser for making better portraits. So what it is, the material is translucent, right? So light does pass through it. But what happens is this, when you're shooting outside in natural light, right? The sun is a horrendously bad light source. It's very bright, but it's very harsh. It's a harsh, non-pretty, it's not good. It makes people squint, it makes their skin shiny, it makes their shadows, and this is the big thing, the shadows are very unflattering. They're very hard and they're just not very awesome, right? So if you shoot someone outdoors, I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like this. So take a look. Look at the hot spots on her forehead, under her eyes. It makes it look like she's sweaty. She's already squinting, and look at the shadow on her neck. It's like you drew it with a magic marker. It's not flattering, it's not nice. So how do you get really nice light in any outdoor lighting situation? You take that disc, that one-stop diffuser, and all you do is you simply hold it over their head. You put it basically between the sun and them. That's it. That's the entire trick. Just hold it up over their head. You know, have a friend hold it, and you got a friend, right? You got a phone, you got a friend. Hey, friend. Hey, assistant. Hey, stranger. Would you just put this up between them and the sun? That's the whole trick. And look at the difference. This is the same shot. Nothing's changed on my phone. These are all iPhone shots. Nothing changed except for one thing. You put the diffuser up there. Look, I'm going to put them side by side for you so you can see. Look at the shot on the left, squinting, shiny, and look at the shadow on her neck on the left. Now look at the soft, beautiful shadows on her neck on the right. It's all the difference in the world. And I'll give you a little extra trick. The closer you can get that, the better it looks. So you can hold it up and it'll be fine. But as you get it closer and closer to the person, now you don't want to see it. You don't want to see it in the shot, right? But what I'll do is I'll have my friend go, okay, bring it in, lower, 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 lower. Okay, right there, stop, bring it out just a little because I don't want to see it in my camera. Like if you're holding it up, you don't want to see a big round disc in there, okay? Now, I do have another tip for you coming up about the black side. But that right there, that is one of the best things that you can do for making people look great with shots of your iPhone. So now you've got that really nice trick. You're going to use portrait mode. You're going to be able to probably change the background behind it to be as blurry, as soft as you want. And now you've got soft shadows, you've got beautiful light, and you don't have squinting or any of that other stuff. So you've made a lot of big changes right there off the bat. Easy stuff. Okay, so I've got more tips coming up. We've got 2 more sections of tips coming up, so we've got those. But I'm going to answer a question since we are talking about the book, because it's a book chat. I want to talk about like what's in the book. So if you buy the book, and is it a deal? Let me tell you, it's coming up. If you buy the book, what's actually in it? Well, there's a number of different chapters. I think there's like 12 chapters. And I'm going to just briefly tell you what's in each chapter. So the iPhone Camera Essentials is basically just the stuff you kind of need right off the bat. Like, what do I really need to know about the camera itself? And guys, you're going to be surprised how many things there is for the actual camera. Like there's all kinds of buried stuff in there and all kinds of little features and stuff that Apple kind of hid. But if you dig into them, you're going to find some stuff in there that I think you'll really find helpful. So that's the first chapter. The second chapter is all on composition. And guys, if there's anything that's good, if you never changed a setting on your camera, but you learned how to frame things up better and make good compositions, whether it's landscape, whether it's travel, whether it's people, whether it's food photography, whatever, if you can really learn to compose, it is the one thing that's going to make the biggest difference. So I dedicated an entire chapter on just, here are the pro tips to just make you get really great compositions. Number 3 is all on photographing people. It's one of the big things that we do. It's one of the things that we have a phone for, especially for really important photos of like family and stuff. Don't you want great photos that you look back in years and go, man, that looks great. You don't want to look at it and go, I wish I'd used a better camera. You've got a great camera, but if you take these techniques and apply them, you're going to get great people shots. Next, of course, travel and landscape photography. I think of myself as a travel photographer. That's one of my loves and one of the things that I do. Well, I did until March of 2020, but I'm getting ready to go again because things are getting better. So anyway, there we go. So that's travel and landscape photography. I got all kinds of techniques for you that will just really make a big difference. Next, other cool stuff to shoot. Well, we do the main stuff, right? We do people and we do landscapes and we do travel and stuff, but there's so many other things that you can shoot, all kinds of stuff that is beyond just the regular stuff. So I want to not only give you ideas of what to shoot, you can just look that up on the web, but I want to give you techniques. So we're going to do this, and here's what we're going to do. So that's what the whole other thing is about, and it has everything like products and all that kind of stuff. All right, number 7, iPhone camera tips and tricks. There's just a bunch of little tips and tricks that will make, not only will it make you have better photos, but it just makes taking the photos more fun. And this is important, since about everybody's got an iPhone, it's fun to look over at your friend and go, oh, did you know it can do this? And they're like, what? And you're like, what? And you're like, what? And they're like, what? It's great. Next time you're at an iPhone party, you can just pull out this, oh, did I show you this iPhone camera trick? So it's a bunch of iPhone camera tips and tricks and really cool stuff in there. All right, next. Next is shooting nude selfies like a pro. No, that's not in there. I don't know how that got in there. That's crazy. No, it's not in there. Chapter 8 is actually organizing your photo library. So there is a great app on there called the Photos app, but I'm telling you what, there's a lot to it. It's deeper than you think, and if you learn some of these key techniques, you will fall in love with that app. You'll be like, this is awesome, and it's all about getting your hands on the photos that you want when you want them. There's nothing worse, and I've been on this, and you have been too. You're sitting at dinner, and somebody goes, oh, let me show you that picture. They're telling a story, and then they want to show you the picture. And it takes them 15 minutes to find the picture. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that gal. You don't want to have that situation. This is going to get you to the photos that you want, and all kinds of other tricks and techniques that you're going to love about organizing your images, because it is an art unto itself. Chapter 9 is all on editing your images. Now, we're going to do most of this right with the regular Photos app, but if you want to move on to something else, there are other apps that you can use that are really, really great, that like serious iPhone users do. So we're going to talk about editing your images, make them look great, take them from flat to fabulous, the whole chapter. Next, incredible apps. So one of the things I get asked when I'm talking about the iPhone is, all right, what apps should I get? And I turn you on to some really cool ones, and I'm going to show you one today that I think is one of my favorite. It would be the app where if I was hanging out with somebody, they say, look, I just want one app that's going to be really fun and really take my shots up and in one. I'm going to show you that one today. All right, that's chapter 10. Chapter 11 are iPhone accessories. What things would I tell a friend to get? And there's not many of them. There's not a ton of them. There's a ton of them out there. I'm just going to focus on the really good ones because there's some really great ones out there. I've bought some that are trash. I bought some that are treasures. We're going to go through all of them. And lastly, I end up with photo recipes. I'm going to show you a picture and go, all right, what does it take to get this kind of shot? I'm going to go through the settings and the composition and everything you need. Is a whole chapter that shows you the final shot and then exactly what the recipe is to get it. All right, now that you know what's in the book, let's look at the deals. So Rocky Nook has some amazing deals on my books, all righty? Now, the book retails for $29.95. So if you walk into a Barnes & Noble or walk into some place and say, I want this book and I need it now, it's $29.95. That is the retail price. However, tonight, because I love you like a family member, or at least Rocky Nook does, they are selling the actual print book for 15 bucks. 15 schmackaroos. Seriously, that is ridiculously low. That's ridiculously low. Like $15. Come on. When was the last time you took $15, spent it on something, and it made everything better? All right. Well, for more than just a few brief moments. All right. So, yeah. Okay. Now, seriously, 15 bucks? It's too low. It's too low. It's 50% off. Come on. All right. Now, what if you want the ebook? What if you want like an ebook? Read it on your iPad or whatever. You ready? Are you sitting down? I think you better sit down for this one because you're going to lose your mind. It's just 10 bucks. 10 bucks for the ebook version. Come on, who does that? All right? Seriously, 10 bucks. Come on. Now, if you want both, if you want, sometimes I like to have the ebook. I like to keep it with me on my phone when I'm out shooting, right? Because you can just get it and have it on your phone. And I want the print book for on a plane or I'm at home or I like print. You can get both the ebook and the print book, both of them together for just 20 bucks. Seriously. Come on, this is crazy. So that's the deal. 20 bucks for both if you want to get all of them. All right. They are in stock. They're ready to rock. You like that kind of thing? Is that right? All right. And where do you go for this deal? You go to rockynook.com/Kelby After Hours. In fact, I will put that up on screen in just a moment. All right. I do believe I have that address right. I thought I had it right here, but I will have to just go grab it. But I want you to see. There it is. This is the address right here. That's it. rockynook.com. Kelby After Hours. You can go get it. Go order it right now. Don't even wait for the rest of the tips. Say, Scott, I've seen enough. You need it. Now, you can also buy this for a friend. Wouldn't it be cool if you bought this for somebody? 10 bucks, 15 bucks, and just say, hey, I know you're into iPhone photography. I just bought you this book. They will love you. They will respect you. They will be all about you. It'll be all about you, because they love you. All right, so that's it. Go to rockynook.com, Kelby After Hours. All the deals are there. You can stock up on them. And they have some other deals there too, which I'll talk about. But they also they're going to give you a deal to buy any one of my books for 40% off using a special secret code that will be revealed later in the show. But for now, we're going to go back. Give me 1 second, because now I got to jump back to where I was. We did go through the deal. Let's do some more tips. Oh, wait, I do want to do this. I do want to answer any Q&As. So if you've popped any Q&As in the place where Q&As wind up, and I don't know where would those Q&As be?
In our chat.
In our chat. So we're checking in our chat for Q&As right now. And hold on a second. Let me just look, because also I might have some right here. And I'm completely wrong. Okay. I thought there would be maybe text to me. So here's what we're doing while we're getting ready for this. Caught everybody off guard here. We'll come back to the Q&A, because we're unprepared, but we will be soon, so don't go away. All right, next, let's go back for more tips. And maybe nobody has questions. Maybe you're like, I don't need to know anything, I know it all. But I got some tips for you. All right, let me get my, my stuff together for my tipperoo. Here we go. Let's look at some more tips. All right, so I want to talk about the right lens for portraits. Now, there is the standard lens that comes with your phone. It is a wide angle lens, so it's wide angle. It's not the zoom lens. You have a zoom lens, which is not really a zoom, but they call it a zoom. It's somewhat of a zoom. You have a wide angle, and if you have one of the brand new iPhones, you actually have a super wide angle. So if your phone has 3 lenses, like this one on the back, it has 3 lenses on the back, you have a super wide angle, which is amazing. It really is. I can't even believe that it's 13 millimeters. And for those of you who are photographers out there, you're like, that's super wide. But here's what I want to talk to you about. When you're taking photos of people, you want to be very careful to not use that wide angle lens, especially if you're going to take a close-up portrait. Close-up portraits with a wide angle lens, they literally distort your subject's face. I see it all day long, every day. I see it on Facebook, I see it on Instagram. I'm like, just back up and then use the zoom lens. The zoom lens is tremendously more pleasing, tremendously nicer. And I want to just show you, just saying it is one thing, but I want to show you. So we're going to take some iPhone pictures. The first picture I'm going to take right here is using the wide angle lens. Not the super wide angle, just the regular 1x lens. All right, that's the normal iPhone wide angle lens. All right. Now, all I'm going to do is switch to the 2x zoom. Now I have to take a couple steps back, right? Because I'm too close. I'm going to take a couple steps back. I'm going to switch to the 2 zoom. And I want you to see how much more pleasing it is, because the wide angle distorts facial features. So watch the difference. Here is the 2x zoom. Same everything, same settings, same camera, same place, same person. Look at the difference. I'm going to put them side by side so you can see. Look at the difference. The one on the left versus the one on the right, by changing just one thing. I didn't change the lighting, I didn't change the settings, I didn't change anything other than that one particular thing. That is a lot of difference for just taking 2 steps backward and tapping the 2x button on your lens. So just put it in your mind, I'm not going to use the regular lens to take pictures of people. And now, if they're far away, you won't see the distortion. Like if they're standing way back, you know, if they're 10 feet away or something, you're not going to see that distortion. You're going to put them in the middle of the screen. But if you get close, the distortion gets really, really bad, and you don't have to do that. Okay, number 2, this next one, this is some of that crazy math that Apple's doing behind the scenes. That is just nuts. And it is, they let you create a high-key studio look, like a studio portrait look, right? When you shoot outdoors, you can shoot outdoors, hit this button, it looks like you went in a studio and lit it and made it black and white and did all this cool stuff to it. And I love it. It works so incredibly well. You can put your person on a white background or a black background, and I see so few people do this, and it's just a click away, all right? So we're going to start off with a regular shot. taken in portrait mode. If I'm going to shoot a person, that sounds bad. If I'm going to photograph a person, I am always going to be in portrait mode. It's just the most pleasing one. It puts the background a little out of focus. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with just a regular shot taken with the iPhone, nothing else, and then we're going to add the technique. Take a look. So here's the shot. I'm going to zoom in a little so you can see it there. All right, so here's our shot. Looks good already. You see that little cube, the 3D cube? You're going to click and hold on it and drag all the way to the end and look. Look, that's it. It puts a solid white background like you went in the studio, set up lighting, and did the whole 9 yards. Literally, it does it all for you. Just tap. Now, you can go and put a black background, but I want to turn you on to this other one right here. It's called Studio Light. It's the second one in the list. And this is, look at this. It's like you added lighting. Look at the background. It doesn't change, but it uses facial recognition. That is incredible right there. Now, I'm going to show you that whole thing again just because we can, all right? So let's do it. Here we go. We're going to zoom in on the photo. There we go. See the little cube right there on the right side? You're going to tap and hold on it. Up pops all these different choices. The very last one is my favorite, high key mono. I think that just gives it a great like studio look right there, and it does all it for you. But the one I want to turn you on to for everyday use is the second one, which is called Studio Light. And look at that. And I'm going to show you before and after. You tap on the screen to see before. Just tap and hold. There's the original. Let go. And there's, look at that. That right there, I think, is just a killer tip. You can make almost every portrait look better using that little kick of Studio Light, and it's very, very smart about it. All right? Next, this is another one that gets by a lot of people, and I've been doing a bunch of interviews for the book recently. And so I'll be talking to interviewers, and I tell them this next tip, and they always stop and go, wait a minute, wait, let me try this. And they're like, oh. And it is the greatest trick to help you make sure you don't miss the shot. So many times something great's happening. Your kids are doing something cute. Your dogs are doing something funny or something unusual. You see something happening and you want to capture it. So you go to your phone and you unlock it, and then you go to the camera app, and by the time you've got your camera app up and running, you've missed the moment. You've missed the shot. So here's what you're going to do. This is going to sound crazy, but man, does it work great. Ready? You are not going to wake up your phone. Your phone's asleep, right? You're not going to wake it up. You're just going to pick up your phone, right? And when you pick it up, right? So when you pick it up, right? The light comes on. I don't know what to say. It's asleep, and then the light comes on. All you're going to do is swipe left, and there's your camera. That's it. You don't have to unlock your phone. You don't unlock your phone at all. The whole key to this trick is don't wake up your phone. Pick it up, swipe left, and you're already in the camera and it's ready to shoot. Don't wake it up. Look on screen. It's these 2 steps. Let me say that again. Look on screen. Look on my screen. Look at my computer. Thank you. This thing. Step 1, don't wake it up. Just pick it up and swipe left. That's it. I'll wait a moment while you try it with your own phone right now, because I know you want to. What? That works really great. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? All right. Now, that's another tip. I have to roll on, but to do that, I actually power all this off my phone. All right. Next one. This is kind of a tricky one too. Taking photos on the sly. All right? Taking photos on the sly. So what do I mean by this? Well, there's sometimes your dogs are playing. Have you noticed this? When you pick up your phone, your dog will immediately stop doing whatever cute thing they were doing. That's one. Number 2, your kids will do the same thing. Number 3, at our house, for whatever reason, a hummingbird comes right by and goes right to this little succulent flower right there by the window. If you all of a sudden get your phone out and try to shoot it, the hummingbird goes, whoa, and it's gone in a split second. What if you could take a little tripod, put it right there, and fire your phone remotely? you just put your phone there and you fire it wirelessly. Now, you're thinking, I probably have to buy some kind of wireless thing, and you can get for $10, you can get a little wireless thing. I've got one. I talk about it in the book. Did I mention there's a book? I don't know. Anyway, you know how you fire it wirelessly? From your Apple Watch. Your Apple Watch has an app called Camera. When you tap on it, it gives you a preview of what you're going to shoot. You just press the shutter button and it takes the shot. It takes the shot via Bluetooth. So you can set up for that hummingbird, and when you see it across the room, you're like, what? What? Click, what? Click, what? Click, 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 click. Aim it at your dogs, wait for the dogs to do something cute. You don't have to run over there and tap it. Just click, click, click right there on your phone. On your phone, it's crazy. All right. Let's do, now that you've got some tips under your belt, let's do a Q&A, and then I want to come back and I want to tell you about an app. But let's do a real quick Q&A. How quick? Real quick. Let me get my fancy Q&A slide up because I don't want you to be shortchanged. Where is my Q&A slide? All right, there it is. And we've got lots of questions. All right, so first question is from Darlene. Darlene says, will it be helpful for an iPhone 7? So Darlene, only I would say about 25% of the book is actually about the phone. Actually about the camera and that stuff, right? So there's just a couple of chapters about the phone. Or the camera. Now, obviously, if you've got the latest phone, it is perfect for it. If you have an iPhone X and up, it's great for it. If you have an iPhone 7, it's mostly great for it. Most of the book doesn't matter what kind of camera you have. It's just like, what does it matter what kind of camera you have for the tip about the one-stop diffuser, right? Things like that. Portrait mode has been in the phone for a long time. So I would say it's going to be mostly helpful. It's not every page is going to be for you, but I would say most of the book is going to be right on the money, as long as you've updated to the latest iOS, because a lot of these features are in the latest iOS, even if you have an older camera. So I think you'll be fine for most of it. You won't be able to, some of it you'll be like, oh man, I don't have, an iPhone X, so I can't do this one thing. But for most of it, you'll be able to do it. And again, it's a lot about teaching you professional photography techniques, composition, and things like that work with any phone. All right, John asks, John, so which online services do you use to back up your iPhone photos? So John, I just use Apple's, the iPhone, they back up to Apple's cloud. So they do it, that's the only place that I back them up, and there they sit. I actually did turn on, I had Google Photos because Google Photos would take your photos and also upload them. And I think it'll do both. You shoot to Apple and then it goes to Google. I've just been using Apple. I've been able to retrieve photos from years and years and years and years ago, no problem. I can see photos on my phone back to I think I have 14,000 photos on my iPhone. And I have images back to 2004 or something like that. Way back there. All righty. Let's see, Nick wants to know, do you align the tips on the iPhone Pro with RAW capabilities, or do you cover earlier iPhone versions? I don't really talk about the RAW version in the book. It doesn't really change anything. It is a button that you toggle on and on to shoot in RAW, and the tonal range is better, but it's not like it unlocks a whole bunch of other features you couldn't do before. But I will give you this. I will give you this tip besides that, Nick, because it's not like you hit RAW and all of a sudden all these new things come up. No, you're just shooting in RAW. But I'll tell you this, and this is a warning. I don't shoot in RAW even though I can shoot in it, because you will fill up your phone so quickly. So Apple's HEIC, right there, their JPEG kind of replacement, makes very, very small, high quality photos. They're very, very small. Each time you press that shutter button with a RAW photo, you're talking 40 megabytes, maybe more, maybe 50. It's a tremendous, every time you hit it, it's a huge file. And I've already heard from people that are saying, I don't know what's going on, my phone's full. You'll eat up space like you cannot believe. Now, if you're someplace and you're taking a killer shot and you're like, man, this is unbelievable, this is fantastic, I really need to shoot in RAW, turn it on, take a shot or two, and then turn it right back off. But again, Nick, it doesn't unlock any other features. It's not like, well, now you've got RAW, and so we can do blank. It's just a higher quality file format. So it doesn't really do anything other than give you a higher quality file format. All right, let me get back to my thing. My phone went to sleep, thankfully. Thank you, phone. All right, let's wake it back up. There we go. All right, now I got some more questions. Let's see. Lyle says, do you have a tripod mount for a mobile phone that attaches to a Swiss Arca plate? Wow, I do not. Now, there are tripod mounts for things like a platypod. iPhone mounts for a platypod. I know because my wife has one. So there are those, but I don't know one that fits on a Swiss Arca tip. All right, let's see. Patrick asks, and I'm going to have to fill in the blanks here. He just says, strictly Lightroom on phone, iPhone camera. Yes, Lightroom does have its own camera, and the thing was, the reason why people liked the Lightroom camera was that it could shoot RAW, and Apple's own camera couldn't. But now, Apple's own camera does, and to be honest with you, I don't use Lightroom's camera. I use other things in Lightroom, and Lightroom is my main editing tool. It is great for editing photos on your phone, but since I don't shoot in RAW, there's no big advantage of me having to go to Lightroom and go to the camera. Especially, I use that little trick where you swipe left and your camera's right there so often that I would not want to give that up. But that's just me. All right, Sherry says, my question is, when I use portrait mode to get close-up pictures of flowers that's closer than 8 feet, how can I get the flower in focus? So, try this. Because this is what I've been able to do. I've been able to get really close with portrait mode. I get back 8 feet, I tap and I go. And I move in and I just start walking in. So don't walk in real tight and then try to focus. Focus back so it's focused in and then walk in. Try that and see if that works for you. I think you'll be surprised at how well it works. Teresa says, would the diffuser work for an iPhone with indoor portraits, like a before and after hairstyle with bad overhead lights? Yeah, Teresa, it's absolutely. All it does is take nasty lighting and make it better. Now, outside, the lighting is so bright, the sun is so bright that it works just miracles. But we actually use that same diffuser, just to let you know, we use that same diffuser with a flash. So if you own a flash, you can fire that flash right through the diffuser and it doesn't discriminate against the type of light. So as long as you've got a really strong overhead light, put the diffuser, and all this diffuser does is it softens the light and spreads it and makes it look nice. So yeah, you could absolutely use it indoor. All right, big question. Dee wants to know, are there chapter intros? Dee, thank you for asking. Yes, there are, and I'm going to read one of the stupidest ones in just a minute. All right. Karen's asking a question, kind of like what we said. Do you need a newer iPhone to use most of the tips? No, you do not need a newer iPhone to use most of the tips. You need a newer iPhone for some of the tips, but you don't need them for all of them. Again, 75% of the book is about photography, 25% is about the phone, and if you've got an iPhone 8S, you'll be able to do most of it, not all of it. All right, Stuart says, in night mode, if anything moves, it comes out blotchy instead of blurred. Have you found a good way to edit the blotchiness? I'm experimenting with motion blur. No, Stuart, you know what it is? Night mode is one of those best case scenarios. It works great when stuff isn't moving. And you're right, it comes out blotchy. So night mode in the right setting is awesome, and in the wrong setting, it's awful. So yeah, I don't have a good trick for that. Mike asks, is there anything on the book on video? It is not. I do not have a video chapter. I got a really cool video tip. It's a bonus tip. I'm going to give you a bonus video tip. This is kind of cool. So you're taking pictures with your phone, just stills. Click, click, click. And if any time you decide, I wish I had video, you don't have to switch to video mode. Tap on the shutter button and drag to the right, and it starts shooting video. I got a second tip for you. All right, so just tap the shutter button, and drag to the right. Now you got to have the latest OS. It's iOS, what are we on, 13, 14, who knows. Tap and drag to the right. And it all of a sudden starts shooting video. Now, once you're shooting video, if you are shooting video and you decide that you want a still, like I want to take a still shot, when you're shooting video, there is a white shutter button. There's just a little white circle there. That's a shutter button. So you're shooting video, you want to take stills, tap it. Just tap that and it's going to take stills while you're shooting video. But I want to give you one other tip. Now this is one of my wife's tips. My wife is a serious iPhoneographer, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I do want to say that she turned me onto this tip. Have you noticed that when you take a shot with your phone, and you've probably seen it while we're in this slideshow here. In fact, let me give you an example. Give me 1 second and I will show you what I mean. So here we go. Take a look on screen. We saw this shot earlier. Do you notice that your photo doesn't fill up the screen? There's a black bar at one end and a black bar at the other, and your photo takes up a lot of the screen, but it doesn't take up the whole screen. So I got a tip for you. If you want it to take and fill up the entire screen, right, not have black bars on the ends, fill up the whole thing, shoot in video mode. Switch to video. You never have to hit the record button. Just switch to video and use the still button in there. And now your photos will take up the entire screen. The only caveat, the only thing I want to tell you is when you do that, it actually zooms in a little. So from your normal view, you switch to video, you'll notice it gets a little closer. So it zooms in a little, but it also completely fills the screen edge to edge, which is really, really nice. Okay, let me see what we got going on because it's time for, oh wait. So Natalie says, do you leave your grid on for composition so you don't have to have a crooked horizon? Yeah, Natalie, there is a little trick. We talk about it in the book, in the camera settings, and this is for any iPhone. It's been in the iPhone for many years, so even older versions can do this. There is a grid that you can put over. It's the rule of thirds grid. So it's 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines that split the screen into thirds. And the idea is that you put things that are interesting where those thirds interact. Like you put a person's eyes in the top third, and you put horizon line in either the bottom third or the top third, and you put interesting things where those lines interact. So yeah, I keep the grid turned on most of the time. Alrighty, is there a way to brighten up the eyes in Edit or on a different app for the iPhone? Yeah, there are so many apps that are great for that. I'll tell you one app, Heidi. I wasn't going to talk about it today, but I'll just tell you if you want to get it. Perfectly Clear. It is an app called Perfectly Clear, and it does an eye brightening scenario that is really, really good. Now, they have a desktop version, they have a plug-in version for Photoshop, and they also have an app. It's called Perfectly Clear, and it's just, their eye stuff is really, really good. Alrighty, let's see if we got more questions. Oh yeah, some of these are kind of stuff we've already talked about. So if you have more questions, we'll do one more Q&A coming up in just a minute. But let me get back on the program where we are here, because I mentioned that I had an app I wanted to show you. All right, so the app I want to tell you about, if I had to tell you about one other app, like Scott, I need one other app, I just want to buy one app, all right? And Lightroom is my editing app, right? So I've got Photos, which is Apple's app, which has actually gotten very good. Lightroom, which is when you're really serious about editing. What's the other app? The other app is called Lens Distortions. It's very inexpensive. I want to say it's $1.99, but like many apps, you buy it and then there's add-ons that you can buy, you know, extra collection stuff. This thing is just awesome. And what it does, it allows you to drag and drop little effects, light bursts, atmospheric effects and stuff into any photo. So my wife put together a little video with some of her videos, and I'm going to show you how it works, because this is her jam. All right, so here is a shot. You've got some, here are all the different light hits and different things that you can add. There's a collection called Fog. You tap on one you like, and look, it just adds it to the photo. You can take your finger and position the fog where you want it, and then once it's in there, you can just swipe that stuff away. You can control the opacity, right? You can drag it up, you can have it heavier or darker. You can change all kinds of aspects of it. If you want the fog to be brighter, drag to the right. If you want it to be less bright, of course, you drag to the left. And if you want to keep it, you hit the check mark. You can also make all kinds of other changes. I mean, it's like there's all that you can see them right there. Let's look at another one. Okay, how about this shot? Look at there's these classic light hits in the bottom. There's all these different collections, and this one named Soft Light has got some really, really nice ones. You just tap on one, and it adds, do you see that light beam it added? And look at the masking it's doing. Look how it masks right around isn't that cool? You just take your finger, drag it where you want it. You can change, of course, the intensity and all that stuff. Or you can just choose a more intense beam as well. But you're just dragging this all with your finger. Let's here's one that's more intense. Look at that. You can pinch to zoom and change the angle and change all of that. These are all my wife's photos, by the way. These are her photos. She lent them to me. Yeah, that's lent. I'm getting a head nod there, okay. You can change the color. Want to make it warmer, want to make it cooler, you can do the temperature and tint. You have so much control afterwards. All right, let's look at another photo. All right, here is another iPhone photo. And now you're adding these big classic light hits. And you can add glows. Look at that. You can just resize it using your fingers. You're pinching. Everything's done with your fingers pretty much. Change the opacity. You can change the brightness. And just lowering the opacity a little, a lot of these really helps a lot, just to blend it in with the photo a little better. And then you can go, and there's all these, there's so many. Some of them you buy, some of it comes with it. And let's grab one of, woo, hang on, don't move. How about, well, there's a lot of them. That one. Look at this. Put it right there. It's got the little spiky things in it. And just pinch in, pinch out to make it bigger, pinch in to make it smaller. There's your opacity. And I talk about this in the book, and I go through a bunch of other apps that are like, if you really are into apps and stuff, because there's stuff that you can do that you go, why isn't this stuff in Lightroom? Why isn't this stuff in Photoshop? And it's so inexpensive, which is really, really cool. So that gives you a really pretty good idea. Let's do one more. Let's do this taken at the top of Mount Haleakala in Hawaii, and not desert sand. And look at this one. And what's nice is, watch, you can rotate it. Look at that. Right? Anyway, very cool. My wife turned me on to that. She's like super into lens distortions, and it is. If I had to tell somebody about one app, that would be it. All right, let's talk about those Rocky Nook deals, right? Okay. You're getting the book in hardcover, in print, not hardcover, in print. It's not hardcover, it's a softcover book. This is it right here. I happen to have a copy. Whoops, right here. Don't you love hearing oops in the middle of a presentation? You know it's going well. All right, that's number one. So they have a bundle deal. All right, now, because you know you can get this book for $15, you know you can get the ebook and the print book for $20, but they've got some other bundle deals of my other books. So they're doing a 3-book deal. So this is for regular photographers, not for iPhone photographers. So there's a landscape photography book, there's the digital photography book, and the flash book. Do you notice how brilliantly each one of these are named? So easy, you know exactly what they are. The landscape photography book, the digital photography book, the flash book. They're doing a bundle of all 3 of them for $45. Now, if you want the ebook version, you get them for $35. If you want the print and the ebook, 3 of them. So it's 6 things, 3 print books, 3 ebooks, just $50. Ridiculously low, crazy cheap. Where do you go? Go to rockynook.com. And now, if you're watching this and you go, but Scott, I've already got some of those books. I've got a few of those. Well, then do this. Go to the same place, but you can use that code SKChat40 for 40% off of any of my books. So just go to town on that 40% off. Again, these are like ridiculously low, like crazy, crazy, crazy numbers. Okay, now let's jump in and do another Q&A. Let's see, there we go. Mark says, I love the book. I bought it digitally and then I got a great deal for the paper book. All right, well, thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate that. Melissa says, I just ordered the book. Scott is a great teacher. Thank you, Melissa. That's very kind of you. Thanks. And Rosemary says, I already have the book, Scott, and it's awesome. I haven't read it all yet, but I am highly recommended to my family and friends. Rosemary, thank you. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Diana, is it Diana? D-A-I-N-A. Dana. Dana? I'm so sorry. How about this? Ms. Sefton. Ms. Sefton. Ask the question, how do you sharpen your images to post on social media? I sharpen the heck out of them. Now, you can sharpen them inside of Apple's Photo app, right on your phone. Go to the Photos app and literally go to sharpen and drag the slider. Literally, that's it. Just and you're seeing what it's really going to look like. You're getting a great representation because other people are going to be looking on their phone, right? They're going to see it on Instagram, they're going to see it on Facebook or Twitter. So what you see on screen is what you get, which I love. You can also do it in Lightroom. Lightroom sharpening is in the detail panel. So go to the detail panel and the edit. There's a little edit thing. Go to the detail, and there's an amount slider. Drag the amount slider. I would say in the range of maybe 50 to 60. And if it's something with a lot of detail, like a landscape or a cityscape or a motorcycle or a car, you can go to maybe 70 or 80. But there you go. Either one of those two, Ms. Sefton, those will do it. Okay. Now, I want to tell you about this next thing. And what it is there is a, in my books, there is a, it's a long, I'm in the wrong place, hold on. There is a long history about, somebody earlier asked about my chapter openers. And so at the beginning of each chapter, and this is the thing I've done in all my books. I've written almost 100 books now. And in all my books, I do this dumb thing. I did it to give you a mental break, right? So you're learning all this stuff, and then, you know, you don't need like another page to, so I give you this mental break, and this has nothing to do with anything. Like, it doesn't really have to do with what's in the chapter. It's just for fun. And it has either been a wonderful hit and people love it, and I get letters from people all over the world, or they hate it with the passion of 1,000 burning suns. And they're like, I can't believe this whole book is jokes. It's not. It's just those chapter openers. So in a book with 12 chapters, there's 12 pages out of hundreds of pages, just those 12 where I do this weird stuff. So what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to give you a dramatic reading of one of those chapter openers right now. I'm going to turn to a chapter here in the book, and I'm going to read you one of them. Let's find one. Here we go. And you're going to see just how stupid they are. So it's time for a dramatic reading. This one is from chapter 5, and the headline is Travel and Landscape Photography, but the subhead is They Go Together Like Ramalama Lama Ka-ding-a-ding-ding-dong. Now, I don't know if they can show this here in the, I can show you in the, so take a look at the subhead on screen. We'll have to go back. Now you see how it didn't format correctly, right? It says they go together, and then there's one word that is on this next line. That's important to this story that I'm about to read you. And now, a dramatic reading. Here we go. Travel and landscape photography, they go together like Ramalama Lama Ka-ding-a-ding-da-dong. I have to tell you, I was fairly concerned with that subhead above. You probably recognize the lyric from the movie and Broadway show Grease. It's that song at the end of the movie where they all just graduated and they're at the carnival, and for some inexplicable reason their car just starts flying, and yet no one is concerned or surprised, which made as much sense as the ending of Cats. Anyway, I wasn't so concerned with the line itself, which was just too perfect to pass up. It's the way the type winds up wrapping, which leaves the word dong just kind of hanging out there by itself. Every time I would come to this page, it's kind of like all I saw. I couldn't look away, but at the same time I was repulsed by it. But not only because of the particular typographic faux pas, it's actually called an orphan. Well, it's either that or it's called a widow. I can never remember which is which, but one is when you end a paragraph with just a single word hanging out there, like our dong in this instance, and the other is when you end a paragraph at the top of the second column of text, and that second column starts with just a single word or a line. I can't remember which one is which, but I do remember that both widows and orphans are really bad. Not the actual widows and orphans in Real Life Manual, but the typographic ones which are, I don't know. Maybe it's time we rethought the naming conventions of these typographic landmines, because now that I write them, they don't seem to have aged well. Much like the song lyric, Rama Lama Lama Ka-dinga da ding da dong. I don't even know what some of those words mean. Well, I know what two of them mean, but I know this. If I wrote a song today and it had that line in the lyrics, I'm thinking not only does it not make it to Broadway or a Hollywood movie, I'm thinking it gets my Twitter account flagged and suspended for at least 3 days. Then I'll be remembered forever as shoo-wop, shoo-wada-wada, yippity-boom-de-boom. And there is our dramatic. I love that slow fade. Can we do that again? That was really nice. So from the clouds, and then a slow fade out. That's beautiful. Thank you, Jason. So imagine 12 of those stupid things, and they are darn stupid. So anyway, those are sadly littered throughout the book. But let me tell you, they actually are somewhat popular. And so what I did at some point, and you're going to find this hard to believe because I kind of find it hard to believe, but I actually made an entire book of nothing but my chapter intros. It's Scott's Ultimate Book of Chapter Intros. If you are a Kelby One member, and I know that many of those of you watching are a Kelby One member, you can go get this book for free. Go to the Kelby One member website, and then you go to the sidebar and where it says Perks, go to the Creative Toolkit, and in there you can download this book absolutely for free. Now, I do want to tell you what it says on the cover, because this is important. It is a hand-picked collection of the best chapter introductions from 10 years of Scott's books. There are no tutorials. There is no learning. It's just introductions. I'm serious. Buy it anyway. Now, do you know what one of the first reviews of that book was? Because you can go to Amazon and buy it if you're not a Kelby One member. You can buy it. It's a regular book. You know what one of the first reviews were? Well, this is stupid. There's no tutorials. It's a book of chapter intros. Don't buy it if you think there's going to be anything useful in there. Trust me, there's not. All right, now let's do a quick FAQ. I'm not sure what that stands for. But one of the questions I get asked is, how did this book come about? So how did you wind up writing an iPhone photography book? Well, first I want to give the credit to my wife, because she's the one that got me excited about iPhone photography. I've always had an iPhone, and I just kind of took snapshots with it, and it was like, okay, I'm going to shoot the kids, I'm going to shoot the dog, whatever. And I'm not really thinking about making great photographs, but I'm seeing the stuff that she's making. I mean, she's really got a tremendous eye, and I look at her stuff. I even asked her once, are you sending these off for somebody to edit? Are you really using a DSLR and I'm not looking? Because, I mean, they look phenomenal. She's just really got a gift for it. So she was the one that really made me realize, if she's taking such great shots with this, and I'm carrying all this heavy equipment with me, and I have an iPhone with me. Like, there were times, and this is going to sound stupid when I tell you, but it's the truth. There are times where I would want to take a photograph of something, and I wouldn't take it because all I had with me was my phone. I'm like, well, it's not my real camera. Well, now I realize that the iPhone, it is a real camera, and it keeps getting better and better. Not just the actual hardware itself, but Apple's software, and I think that's what the real star of it is. And I realized Apple's software is what's moving this. They're making bigger advances and doing bigger things than any of these camera companies, any of the DSLR and mirror I mean, think about it. Your DSLR and mirrorless, what have you got now in it that you didn't have 2 or 3 years ago? What, more megapixels? But if you think of what they've done in the phone the last 3 years, I mean, look where I did the studio lighting, and then the white background, and then you're changing the stuff, the background's focus. They're doing things. Can you imagine what's in the next upgrade? Because it just keeps getting better and better, and the software updates with the iPhone are free. So you keep getting new features and more features and better features, right? And if you do buy the phone, then you get the hardware, you get the better glass and things like that. But the stuff that they're doing is just mind-blowing. So that's what really got me to do it. So then I had to pitch this idea to my editor. So this is my editor here, and this is actually taken in the restaurant where I pitched this idea. So this is Ted. Ted Wade is my editor. And I sat with Ted and I said, like, Ted, I want to pitch you with an idea for a book, but it's very different. And I told him the whole story I told you with a lot more detail. And I told him things like, I read an article where it said, do you know how many people at Apple are just working on the camera? Just the camera. Over 800 people. Their full-time job is just working on the iPhone's camera. That's crazy. Can you imagine what the next one is going to be like and what the next one after that is? I mean, you can see the future. They're doing things that nobody's doing. And so I'm telling Ted about all this stuff and I'm having to pitch it to it. And so finally he says, you know, I'm going to talk to our publisher. But anyway, but I wanted to share this photo with you. Now, this is not how Ted normally looks. This is, you know, Ted is very casual. Ted is normally looks like this. So Ted is a dancer by trade when he's not doing his publishing stuff, you know, and he's got a sensitive side. Here he is with his kitten. It's Mr. Bigglesworth. Come, Mr. Bigglesworth. Anyway, he has to pitch this. He doesn't dress like this when he pitches it, though. He dresses more like the previous shot, but, you know. Anyway, so he takes a big handful of ones and he goes to the publisher, throws them there, and my publisher's name is Scott Kelby, and so this is a dumb thing, but this is what we do, because Ted and I, we've been friends for many, many years. Ted's been my editor for as long as I can remember. So I'll send him an idea, and I tell him, so remember, it's Scott Kelby, so I say, hey, let me know if the cow moos. So if Scott moos, then the book is approved. So Ted will send me a picture like this, letting me know that the book has been approved. So once I get that approval, then I have a meeting with my editor. So I have an editor here in-house, Kim Doty, best editor in the world, times 10. And she has been editing my books for also as long as I can remember, and she's brilliant. And she keeps me on track, and she keeps my head from exploding and all kinds of great stuff, and she's just so good. She reads every book, she tests everything, and she just manages the whole project, because me writing a book is like putting kittens back in a box. It's not an easy thing, but she does it really well. So Kim goes through and I go, hey, we got a new book deal. And she's like, yay. And then she starts putting like, all right, here's the deadlines. Here's what you need to work on first. Here's the files. Let's get going. Then her partner in crime, and my partner as well, Jessica Maldonado. Jessica is the most amazing designer. She designs all of my books, all of my covers, all of my graphics, everything. She's a super Photoshop wizard, so she makes my photos look good. She's really, really awesome. And this team of all of us are what actually put together, and if all goes well, the book is born, and they are delivered, as you probably know, by Stork. And Ted was watching, and he just wrote, wow. just one word, just simply, wow. Wow. Anyway, they put them on a truck, and the books on the truck are huge for some reason. But anyway, you guys we're running over. We got to go. So I want to give you a few more tips just before we run. Remember, I'm sorry?
Prizes too.
Oh, we have prizes too. Hey, let's give one away right now. Let's give away a $50 gift card to Rocky Nook. So who's our winner for the $50 gift card? All right, is that Diane?
Yep.
All right, Diane Ebeck. Diane, congratulations. You're about to add more Rocky Nook books. Now, you don't have to get my books. It's a $50 gift card for whatever books you want. They've got everybody's books. Their books are fantastic. So go over to their website and look at all the Rocky Nook books. They've got all the great authors. So congratulations, Diane. You just won a $50 gift card. And then we're going to give away a Kelby One membership. And we're going to give this to Sue Byrne, I think that is pronounced. Byrne? Yeah. Sue, she says, I missed my Kelby One membership, but my budget got kicked by COVID. Well, welcome back, Sue. We are glad to have you back. You just got a Kelby One Pro membership for a year, so congratulations. All right, let's do some tips. We're going to give some more giveaways, and we're out of here. All right, remember I told you the reason why I wanted to buy that reflector was because there is also a black reflector. And nobody thinks about the black reflector, but for an iPhone photographer, it is king. So remember this? Remember these? The black one. That's the one. So what happens is this. When you shoot in the shade or with your back towards the sun, you don't want to be out in the sun, right? Or even if you put a reflector overhead, or excuse me, a diffuser overhead, what happens is you get nice flat light, but you're missing that one thing that professional photographers are always trying to get, and that is shadows on one side of your face. So if you are lit flat, it can be flattering in that, you know, it's not harsh, they're not squinting, the shadows are soft, but you don't get that directional light. You don't get that shadow on one side of the face and the other side is lit. So what does the black thing do? You put it up, and here's how you would put it, literally. Here I'm going to pretend this book is a black reflector. You put it right up next to their face. And as you do, wow, you can even see it here. Watch, this is cool. You can see it on screen. Watch what happens as it gets close to my face. It creates shadows. Look, now my book is worth more because you can use it as a black reflector. I'm just saying. Anyway, I want to show you, let's look on screen. I'm going to show you the left, the before and after. So look at his face on the left. It looks good, but it's kind of flat. When you bring in that black reflector, look at the nice shadow it adds. It adds that shadow that the pros are all looking for. And so that's why you can get just a diffuser for 10 bucks. Absolutely, you can find them online. But if you're willing to just go a little more and get that black diffuser, I'm telling you, you're going to use it all the time. You're going to love it. And if you don't have the black diffuser, then just obviously take my book and put it up near your face, because for some reason that seems to work as well. All right, I got another tip for you. And this is for better couples portraits. Now, this is you're doing engagements or a husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever. And I see people making this mistake all the time, and it's so easy to correct. So what happens is this, you tell the couple, okay, get together, and they put their arms around each other, right? And that feels comfortable to them right there. They're touching, they're very close. But they don't look close in the photograph. They're close in real life, but this gap between them, that gap that you see there, keeps them from having that connection. They look like brother and sister here, right? They don't look like boyfriend and girlfriend. They don't look like an engagement portrait. They look like brother and sister. So all you have to do, and this works wonders. So what I'll do is, this is what I do, and this works great. So I take my shot. I just let them, I say, okay, let's get together, guys. And it's this shot every time. They're just like that. They're touching. They feel like they're close. I take the shot and I walk over and I turn my phone around and go, okay, you see this big gap between you? Yeah, we don't want that gap. So take your heads and tilt them into each other. They get it immediately. Watch the difference. So here's what happens when their heads tilt into each other. They go from brother and sister to either boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife, whatever. It makes all family members closer together. So if I'm doing a group, I have the kids lean into their family, to their brothers and sisters and whatever. Everybody's leaning in so they look like they're related and they're close, and it creates a warmth. Look, I'm going to put them side by side for you, and look at the difference. It really does create that, and it's just such an easy thing to fix. But I can tell you the secret and the recipe is literally to do that. That's how you get better couples portraits. Literally, it is to just show them the bad photo first, walk back, and then from that point on. And I've had people tell me, oh, we're going to do this from now on in photos. Like, they'll tell you, like, you help them with photos that you're not even taking in the future. All right, question. Let's do a quick Q&A. We're really out of time, so I got to go. But Judy wants to know, where do we buy this set of reflectors? You can buy it at B&H Photo, so bhphoto.com. You can find them on Amazon. You can go directly to the manufacturer, fjwestcott.com. So it's the F as in Frank, J as in Juliet, Westcott, W-E-S-T-C-O-T-T, westcott.com. And that you can get that 5-in-1 reflector. In fact, I think I had a picture of it from B&H here. Let me just go drag it up real quick. Give me just a sec. Don't move, don't breathe, don't make a sound. I believe, this is it on B&H. So B&H is an authorized, so just go to B&H Photo, get the Westcott 5-in-1 reflector disc. They make it in different sizes. I think this one that's 40 inches is really about the right size. It's not too big, you get the gold, the silver, the white, the black, and that translucent one that's all important in the middle. All right, we are just about out of time. And let's see, Matt West wants to know, how long are the deals good for? I know they do them for a couple of days, but I'm not sure how many. Do we know, Christina, how many days these are good for?
Let me see if I can find out quickly.
We're going to find out quickly for you, so thank you for asking that, Matt. We'll find out that for you. In the meantime, I'm going to give away another Kelby One membership and another $50 gift card, but I want to make sure that I'm not leaving anything important on the table here. Give me just a moment. Don't move. And let's just make sure that I'm going in the right order and I haven't forgotten anything that is vitally important, because vitally important stuff, well, it is important. All right. So for the $50 gift card, Sherry Cottrill, Sherry, is that right? Yep, Sherry, you won the $50 gift card, so congratulations. That's a $50 gift card from our friends at Rocky Nook. They're great, great folks, great publishers. And then our second Kelby One membership goes to Tori Russell Sekalski. So Tori, congratulations, you won a pro membership, 1 year pro membership to Kelby One. So congratulations to you. Don't forget about those Rocky Nook deals. I would love to have you pick up a copy of the book. I think you'll really love it. Remember, it's an incredible value because it's $29.95 at retail. You're going to get it for 50% off. You're going to get it for 15 buckaroos for the print version, 10 buckaroos for the ebook, $20 for both of them. And of course, you get all of this at rockynook.com/Kelby After Hours. There we go. Oh, okay, there we go. These deals are good through the weekend. So they are good through the weekend. So I hope you'll go and grab them. Now, if you've got some friends that are into the iPhone, if you're like, you know, I'm a DSLR shooter, I'm a pro, but I'll bet you know so many people, friends or family members, that would love to get better at their iPhone, and I would love to help them. Let them know about this deal. It's okay that they weren't watching. You can still tell them and send them to the website and let them get the deal. So send them over there. Let them get it, or you can, of course, if you're feeling magnanimous and what's the other word, generous, you can buy them anything with an us in the end. You can buy it for them and ship it right to them. You can get them the ebook for 10 bucks, or you can get them any one of those deals. And don't forget, if you've already got some of my books, you can use that code that I showed you earlier. Can I pull up that code? Yes, I can, and I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to find that code. I'm going to put it on screen. Here it is, right here. You can always just use that code for this weekend, SKChat40, for 40% off of any of my books. All right, guys, well, it's come time to say goodbye. Thank you all for taking this time on a Thursday night to come and hang out with me. I sure enjoyed sharing the book with you. I love writing the book. It was a lot of fun. And when you write a book like this, you know, I have an idea of what I want to do and what I want to accomplish. But what I didn't realize was how many things are buried inside the iPhone itself, the iPhone camera app, and the Photos app. Man, there is so much great stuff in there that I think you're really going to learn a lot. You're going to laugh a little, but it will help you and whoever you get it for make the best iPhone photos you've ever taken. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you joining me. Thanks to my crew here. We'll catch you guys next time.